this teaching, Rinpoche was asked to give the bodhisattva vows. And when we deal with our bodhisattva vows, we generate the mind of enlightenment, the aspiring bodhicitta. And after that, we will take the engaging bodhicitta, which is the bodhisattva vows. So the procedure of taking the vows isn't special, isn't unique only for Tantra, but it is common with the Sutra. There are two methods for generating bodhicitta and taking the bodhisattva vows. One has come through a sangha that taught the vast way, and the Chitta Matra, the mind only. So this method is the mind only method. This is because it has come to us through a sangha. It has come via a sangha in the school, in the Chitta Matra school of thought, because it was taught in a sangha, by a sangha in the Bodhisattva Bhumi. So the other method of generating the mind of enlightenment and the Bodhisattva vows came to us via Nagarjuna and Shantideva, and it is called the Madhyamika, the middle way. So there are different procedures or processes for taking these vows, and today Rinpoche will use the precise, the concise way. So first we will start with generating the mind of enlightenment, as was taught by a teacher in one verse that he composed. This is the verse that we all use for taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. So we say, I go for enlightenment until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Sangha Assembly. By my merits from giving and the other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. So. So we will start with this verse that was composed by a teacher of going for refuge and generating enlightenment. So when we arise aspects of the path in our mind, we generate compassion that focuses on sentient beings. And we generate wisdom which focuses on enlightenment. We spoke about it in the last few days of generating compassion towards other sentient beings. And in the last few days we mostly engaged in generating wisdom. So we spoke about a wisdom that realizes emptiness correctly. So using this wisdom in order to dispel the afflictions is something we also discussed. Rinpoche believes that by correct understanding that we have generated in the last few days, of course it is difficult to get to realization, but just a correct understanding that we have there is a possibility to stop completely these afflictive emotions. So it could be that definitely I have the ability of attaining Buddhahood by dispelling the afflictions, and there is in the power of wisdom to bring us to this situation, to the state of Buddhahood that is free of obscurations. So we aim to attain enlightenment, and if we ask ourselves, what is the reason? What's the reason for attaining enlightenment? This is the compassion that focuses on other sentient beings who, just like me, they experience variety of suffering, of pain. These are things that they just like me do not want at all. And just like I and others want to be happy, want to have well-being, still there is the happiness and well-being which we haven't attained. So we look at other beings with compassion, and we aim to attain their temporary and ultimate well-being. So as we said this morning when we take the 8 Mahayana precepts, the text said at a certain point, in order to eliminate famine, in order to eliminate sickness, so these are the temporary aims that we want to attain in our action for other sentient beings. But beyond that, we also want attain the ultimate goal for us and for others, and that is recognizing that us as sentient beings, if we are born in this body, which is pervaded by suffering. So having this body that has got the all-pervasive suffering of conditionality. So if we have this kind of suffering, we will have a body that is in the nature of suffering. So therefore, even if we aspire for happiness and we hope not to experience any suffering, but by having this all-pervasive suffering, we will still not be able to attain that which we aim for. So when we develop compassion for all sentient beings, we think that in order to liberate myself and others from this state of time after time, experiencing variety of suffering, I want to attain Buddhahood in order to show others the path that is unmistaken and to a state that they can completely be free from suffering. And this is possible by generating wisdom. So we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. As the two lines say, I go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha until I'm enlightened. So the main refuge is the Dharma, and then in the last two lines we say, by my merits from giving and the other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. So we generate compassion towards all sentient beings, and we are determined to practice the mind of enlightenment and the six perfections, which are the practice of the bodhisattvas, with conjoining it with wisdom. So when this verse says with accumulations, that we have accumulated with generosity, etc. So at least in Tibetan, the verse in Tibetan means, because of the structure of the language, it says I said precisely. So when we think of I, the one who has accumulated, we want to join wisdom into this meaning, so that we think of ourselves as we discussed in the last few days, the I do not exist as one with or as separate of my aggregates, the physical aggregate and the mental aggregates. If I search for the I within the body and within the mind, I will not be able to find anything which will represent it. I am imputed on me and name. So when we say that the accumulations that I have accumulated in order to attain Buddhahood, if we think of ourselves in this way, it isn't only conducive for the accumulation of merit, but also for the accumulation of wisdom. So that our intention in generating and going for refuge and generating enlightenment is the accumulation of the two collections. So we want to generate bodhicitta and wisdom so that we ourselves finally will attain Buddhahood. So this is how the Dalai Lama himself explains this verse in order to accumulate the two collections of for attaining Buddhahood. So when we start every session, we start it with a Heart Sutra. So let's do that now. So now we'll go to the actual part of generating the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, and we will also take the engaging bodhicitta vow. So in order to do that, first we make sure that we have the right, that we engage in the right accumulations, and that we get rid of the obscurations, and we will also generate merit. So that which will allow us to generate bodhicitta while taking the vows. So we'll do it with a 7-branch practice. So this morning Rinpoche recited the long verse of this prayer, which is taken from the King of Prayers. And in this session, he will do it in a more concise way. So in this 7-branch practice, we go through seven parts that are meant to collect accumulations and to get rid of the afflictions, and also to generate, accumulate more virtue in order to support this process. So the first one is prostration. The second one is offerings. So prostration and offerings, the first 2 branches, they support the accumulations. The third branch is purification of negative actions, which we have done previously. So the fourth one is rejoicing. So this is meant to make stronger any virtue that we have previously done. So we also dedicate all the merits and all the positive actions that we have done in the 7-branch practice, and this also makes even greater the merit which we have accumulated. So the 5th and the 6th branch are requesting the Buddhas not to go to nirvana, to pass into nirvana, but to keep turning for us and for others the wheel of Dharma. And these 2 branches, they come under the accumulations. So any positive action that we have done in this 7-branch practice comes under these 2 the divisions, the collections and the purification. So there is nothing that's beyond these 2 actions. And this prayer, with the 7 parts for the accumulations and purification, is not something that we use just now, but it is used in all the Buddhist texts. So in almost any text that we see, also in Shantideva's engaging in the bodhisattva practice, in the precious garland of Nagarjuna, and other texts. So in all the texts, there is the 7-branch practice of accumulation and purification. So we have used the 7-branch practice breath. So since people asked, I will say them again. The 7-branch practice are prostration, then purification, prostration, and then offering, then purification, and then rejoicing, requesting not to go into nirvana. The 6th one is the request to keep turning the Dharma wheel. And the last one is dedication of all the merit that was accumulated in this process for ourselves and others. So Rinpoche says that with these 7 branches we have accumulated the merit necessary, and before we take the vows, the bodhisattva vows. So he wants to say a few words about the benefits of generating bodhicitta. So as Maitreya said in one of his texts, which is an important text, he said, I will respect bodhicitta that leads us from afflictive, from suffering states of birth to higher rebirths of well-being or happiness. I will respect bodhicitta that leads us to higher rebirths as humans and gods. I respect bodhicitta that keeps us, that saves us from old aging and death. So this line that says from old age and death means that by generating bodhicitta we will be able to dispel our afflictive obscurations. And this means that not only will we be able to get rid of the afflictive obscurations, but also with bodhicitta we can completely eradicate the cognitive obscurations. So not only the afflictive obscurations, but also the seeds and the imprints. Also the seed and the imprints that they have left behind, and in that way we can attain Buddhahood. So the mind of enlightenment, that is the one who I pay respect to, it is said. If we think what is the reason for these advantages, the advantages of generating bodhicitta, since we do not want to only rely on faith that this is how things are, we also want to make sure that we have the logics, the proper understanding, that it makes sense to us that these are the advantages of bodhicitta. As Shantideva said in his text, all the problems in the world come from self-cherishing, and all the happiness and well-being arise from cherishing others. So there is no need to speak about it in lengthily. We can see how the Buddhas have attained their purpose, and us, the childish ones. This is what how Shantideva called us, the childish ones. So we still haven't managed to attain our aims. So who is more skillful? Who is more knowledgeable in attaining their wish? Us or the Buddhas? We can see that the Buddha who appeared in our world, he attained what he wanted. He accomplished it by cherishing others. So if we see what the Buddha has accomplished in the way that we experience suffering and misery by cherishing ourselves, and how others, like the Buddhas and others, manage to attain their wishes by cherishing others, then we can use many reasonings to understand ourselves. So we convince ourselves that by generating bodhicitta, there are great advantages. So we want to make clear the characteristics, the advantages in our mind, and in order to do that, we do it like the Buddha himself did it. We we imagine the Buddhas in front of us, we visualize them, and as the Buddha promised to generate enlightenment and not to give it up until he attains Buddhahood. So this is the aspiring mind of enlightenment. So the promise that we make here is not to give up, not to never leave behind the mind that aspires to attain enlightenment. So we can generate this aspiring mind. But if we do it in a kind of ceremony of visualizing that we promise to do it, it gets an extra power that is additional to just a mere promise, just an intention that we generate in our own minds. It's stronger to do it in a ceremony. So in order to do this, creating a situation of not giving up bodhicitta, until we attain enlightenment, we will repeat after Rinpoche. He will recite the verse of promising to generate bodhicitta until enlightenment. So, if you can sit while kneeling, it's better. And as we said before, if you cannot, so don't. Just sit in a comfortable pose. So imagine that you're surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and in front of them you're promising to generate bodhicitta until enlightenment. So Rinpoche recited the verse of going for refuge and generating bodhicitta. So in the third time that Rinpoche recites it, we will repeat after him and imagine that the mind of enlightenment, the aspiring mind of enlightenment, has been generated in your mind. So please sit so your knees don't hurt. So there is one extra verse that gives a lot of inspiration to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. It is taken from the last chapter of Shantideva. So as long as space endures, for as long as sentient beings remain, for that long may to remain in order to dispel the miseries of this world. So also this verse we will repeat after Rinpoche. Arjuna, in his text, Precious Garland Ratnavali, he said that the thing that is most precious to all sentient beings is their own life. Others can give up material things, money, possessions, but the thing that is most difficult to give up is life. So he said that for others what is most precious for them is their life, and for me what is most precious is the others. Even more than myself, what is most important to me is others. So therefore he says, may all the problems of the others come to me, and may all the happiness, my own happiness and well-being will nourish all beings. I think it's a pretty amazing verse with lots of inspiration. So this is the way that the great practitioners thought. This is how they practice. And here we have the opportunity to do it ourselves, to think about it like that, to take an example of the great practitioners of the past and to generate ourselves the mind of enlightenment. So now we have promised or committed to generate the mind of enlightenment and to continue until we attain complete enlightenment. And the next part is to take upon ourselves the vows of bodhisattva, which are the engaging bodhicitta. So if we ask ourselves, what is the difference between generating the mind of enlightenment and the vows of the engaging? So Shantideva dealt with it in the engaging in the bodhisattva way of life. And he said that when we take upon ourselves the vow, then the virtue that has been accumulated from taking the vows will come in an uninterrupted flow, so that even while we're sleeping and even when we're behaving in a way that is wrong, so even then this continuity of virtue will flourish thanks to the vow that we have taken upon ourselves. So this continuity of merit is related only to the vow, not to someone who has just generated the mind of enlightenment. So Shantideva says, even while we're in the state of sleeping, and even when we behave in a way that is not completely conscientious, so this continuity of flourishing virtue will continue until the state of enlightenment, and it will come to complete fruition in this state of Buddhahood. So we can compare it to the monk's vow, nun's vow. So if we take the Getsu vows, which are partial vows, or we take complete the Gelong vows, we do it with a motivation of renunciation, the determination to emerge. So we do this in order to emerge from samsara, and the main virtue that we take, will come into fruition in Buddhahood. So here when we take the bodhisattva vow, the vow which we take has got a vast effect until the state of Buddhahood. The main virtue will fruition in the state of Buddhahood, so that we can lead others to a state of Buddhahood, so that they can go beyond their own suffering. So therefore, someone who takes upon themselves this vow, the virtue flourishes, not only when we're asleep, but also when we behave even in states that are not completely correct. For example, having a quarrel with someone else. Also, in this state, the bodhisattva vows virtue even in this state, it will become stronger and stronger. So we promise with a bodhisattva vow not only to generate bodhicitta, but also to engage in the bodhisattva activities, to the 6 perfections of morality, patience, etc. So we promise to practice in all these things until we attain enlightenment. There are all kinds of rituals and procedures which we can take the bodhisattva vows upon ourselves. There's some rituals which are longer or shorter. Rinpoche wants to use the Shantideva that engaging in the bodhisattva way of life. So these verses are also in the 6th session Guru Yoga. So we will read the verse in English.
Some Buddhas of the past developed the path of enlightenment through bodhicitta and practice stages of creative development, following trainings for all Buddhist children. So may do for the sake of the beings to follow bodhicitta and follow the trainings exactly as all bodhisattvas have done.
That.
Okay. אז בעברית, כמו שכל הבודהות של העבר טיפחו את הבודהיציטה.
So it's just like all the Buddhas of the past generated bodhicitta, generated the mind of enlightenment. They practiced all the different stages by doing the practice of all the bodhisattvas. Also I, for the benefit of all sentient beings, will generate bodhicitta and will practice the stages of the path just as the bodhisattvas did. So this is the procedure that we will use in order to take upon ourselves the bodhisattva vows. So in the bodhisattva vows, which is the engaging bodhicitta vow, so as we said this morning, we want to generate these two aspects of compassion and wisdom. just as the Buddhas did in the past when they were still bodhisattvas. So the Buddhas themselves, even before they attained Buddhahood, while they were still bodhisattvas, they were motivated with the wish to help others, with compassion, care for sentient beings, that focus on all others, and in addition, the wisdom that is combined with this compassion. So with these two aspects, of compassion and wisdom, that focuses on enlightenment. So the Buddhas are motivated by while benefiting others when they're in this, as bodhisattvas. So this is what we're going to do today. So as Rinpoche mentioned this morning, when we took the 8 Mahayana precepts, Rinpoche mentioned the story that he heard in a place called Kasabel Yahud in Bikhat Yarden in Israel, about the Christian monk who befriended with a lion. He wanted to take care of the lion who was sick. He had a thorn in his foot, so he saved the lion. And then during all throughout his life, he stayed in contact with this lion. And there is another story from one of the previous lives of the Buddha, where Rinpoche said that it is quite interesting because there are great similarities in different religions as the stories that are used. So in one of the previous lives of the Buddha, it was said that he fed a lion with honey. It wasn't really honey, it was a fruit tree. He picked a fruit, he put the fruit in his bowl and gave it to the lion. So it could be said that the Buddha gave honey to the lion. So also when we think about the way that the Buddha is shown, how he's depicted as someone who has light coming out of his body, and he's got an ushnisha on the top of his head. But these are actually not the main attributes of the Buddha that are unique to him. But the main thing is the altruism, is the aspiration to be of benefit to others, and the action of benefiting others with generosity, morality, patience, and others. So all these practices that are on the method aspect, which are motivated with a wish of benefiting others. So the Buddha and the Bodhisattvas, any virtue that they create is completely intended, motivated by benefiting others. So this is the commitment that we want to take on ourselves. If we ask ourselves, what should we do today? So in any part of the day, we want to keep this intention to be of benefit to others. So as Rinpoche said, he used the verses that were taken from the engaging in the bodhisattva way of life that can be used in order to take the engaging bodhicitta vows. So there's the Shantideva verses from Shantideva's text, and also Panchen Losang Chogyam added 2 lines that says,
listen to what I have to say from the depth of my heart.
So the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas and Gurus, please listen to what I have to say from the depths of my heart. These two lines were added. So we visualize the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of us, and we ask for their attention.
כפי שהסוגת הכוננו את תודעת ההערה והתאמנו בהדרגה באימוני הבודhisattva, כך אף אני, כדי לא יהיה ליצורים נודדים, אכונן את תודעת ההערה ואתאמן בהדרגה באימוני הבודhisattva.
So again, kneel on one knee.
אז קראתי את המשמעות של מה שרינפוצ'ה עכשיו ידקלם, אז תחשבו על המשמעות הזאת.
So think about the meaning that Rinpoche has just explained and repeat after him. So now it's the second time. So if you wonder why we're repeating it 3 times, because we want to make sure that we do it with focus, then we're saying it 3 times so that we can have a strong purpose, a strong meaning for doing it. So we have completed the second repetition, and in the third one we will say which means also I will practice it in stages. So when we recite this line, think that the vow has been generated in your mind. Once we have taken upon ourselves the vow, we want to rejoice in this virtue that we have accumulated in this action. So in order to do that, we will recite again to
this moment my life has become truly fruitful. For having attained and endowed you with body, today I've developed the true Buddha essence, bodhicitta, and thus have become Buddha's child. Applying now any skill means whatsoever, may I always uphold what I do with his essence and follow the actions of all Buddha's children. May I never confuse with his pure, faultless essence any teachings that lack this enlightening thought. אז מה שאנחנו הולכים לשנן
So what we're going to recite while generating, or while rejoicing in having taken the vows, we will think that at the moment, with taking the vows, our life has become more meaningful. We make this precious human life, we make it meaningful. So now we have entered the Buddha's family. We have the Buddha nature, and we are part of the Buddha family with this bodhicitta, and therefore we have become bodhisattvas. So therefore, by any means, we will make sure that anything we do will not impair, will not harm this family, this nature that we have joined today. So as the Dalai Lama says many times, we will try to the best of our ability to be of benefit to others, and even if we do not manage to, at least the minimal thing we can do is not to harm others. Please repeat. Changju Semcho Rinpoche, Ma Kyepa Nam Kyeche, Kyepa Nyamba Mebayang, Kone Kondo Perwasho. So please sit down. We have completed the bodhisattva vows.
Lama Yoga wanted to Chanju to send the Basumati and Shila Shani, Yire Shindu, Lulame Yoda, the Council, the Yaji on the Dam, Yiri Chachalia, thank you to me, to that leave it was, Kokochingo red was, Kokos red was, and then around the Chajan, and Tuni get a shame, and the Dongo get the day, the Sinea. To be done with so get it. Ready, Tatane, that's what you do. 70 the Boston channel, and Sanjay Chodi, Yana Yang, and they do you. Changes of the double city, and then to the person of the
We have taken the vow today, and we did it in the presence of the Lama. And from today onwards, in our daily practice, Rinpoche recommends that we do it again and again. There are some texts that we can use. For example, the 6-session Guru Yoga. So we can use this text, and we use it
the three representations of body, speech, and mind.
So with 3 representations of body, speech, and mind in front of us, and in their presence, we can time and again take upon ourselves bodhisattva vows on a daily. So during this course, most of the time, we're discussing emptiness. So it's the Mahamudra. We have spent a long time discussing emptiness. And this subject doesn't require daily recitation of the Guru Yoga. But since Rinpoche was requested to give the bodhisattva vows, so for the ones that have taken their bodhisattva vows, we want to aid you do it on a daily. So using this 6 Guru Yoga is something that this text helps us to keep generating the bodhisattva vow. So another verse in Shantideva's text engaging in the bodhisattva way of life says that when we generate the mind of enlightenment, we accumulate merit that supports this human body that we have now, so that even if we stay in cyclic existence in samsara, we will stay with a body that's well-being, that is well healthy. So mental and physical well-being we will have. So as it is said, this positive state of mind, the mind of enlightenment, a kind heart, is what supports mental well-being and also physical well-being. There are some researches and evidence of an immune system which is better if the state of mind is positive, if our mental being is strong. So if we combine it with what Shantideva is saying here, if we want to live with well-being, with good health, so for the ones who are still in samsara and cyclic existence, we want well-being of physical and mental well-being. So generating bodhicitta is conducive for both of these. So as Shantideva says, so here we are spending a few days together, and also when we practice, we contemplate about emptiness, and we try to the best of our ability to accumulate the accumulations. But actually, the potential, the merit accumulation that will help us to live in physical and mental well-being in samsara, we can do that with generating bodhicitta. There's so many things we can say about the advantages of the mind of enlightenment, but maybe this is enough. Should we go to a toilet break?